I was going and I saw a cool trailhead. And this is like really nice. This is the nicest it's been in a while, where there was a cool environment. So we'll keep going. So yeah, I learned that the world wasn't what it was appeared to be. That was obvious. Which makes sense, because the Bible says, if you don't hate the world, you're not fit for the kingdom. Well, a lot of people really, really like the world. They got it real cushy in the world. And that's not saying you can't have it cushy. What do you do for your cushy? You know? Do you live moderately? Do you do good when and where you can? Great. But at the same time, all have fallen short. And new info changes us. But there are some people, like, how are you acquiring and gaining your comfort? Is it at the expense of someone else's comfort? How are you so free? Do you have to put people in bondage for your freedom? Do you have to use others for your freedom? Or is building up others, serving others, is doing that type of goodness what frees you? Because we need freedom. As much freedom as we can, without intruding upon the freedom of someone else. There's the fine line. See, there's the part. See, the counterbalance is the part that's always missed. Yeah, we need freedom, so we becomes some established thing, and others become them. It's not the body, the whole. It's the we, the church, or we, the my company, or we, the this corporation, or we, the this agency, have to protect against them. Which, yeah, there have to be buffers and flows and different things, but not like what's been. See, what's been is gives too much power to those things. That's why, as a whole, we need that counterbalance. Everything gets a new counterbalance. When it gets out of hand, a new counterbalance comes. When the scale gets tipped too far towards illusion, the truth comes. When people are lost and systems aren't getting the results that they want, God will pave a way. But God's way is not our way. What way are you taking? Whose way are you taking? You taking your way or Yahweh? Okay, back to me. Great hearts, don't get me wrong, in church realm, beautiful hearts, beautiful faith, very hyper feminine, powerless in a lot of ways, powerful in other ways, but then, and a lot of great hearts, which hurts even more when you see people with good intentions causing harm, which happens all the time. I mean, you want to call a virus? There's sin, there's lies, there's call it any kind of thing that you want, but people intending to do good, causing wickedness, and not even comprehending the wickedness that they create and allow and feed. That is the real virus. That is a virus. Not understanding is a virus. And you won't understand unless you stand under truth. The beast system gives you its truth. And it wants you to stand under it and its systems. That's why the controls of the systems have been built to have power over you. All the keys are there to empower you as well, but everything's gotten to the point where it has power over you. Now you got to be empowered and make what is yours, because it is. A bat roost. The sign says don't disturb. That makes me want to get up there and poke my head in there. Interesting. I've never seen a bat roost before. Okay, am I testing? So, God gives me this vision, Faith Works, New Year's Day, really pulled me away from the mainstream things that people were doing consistently. I did it, and then I got what I could from it, and then I kept going. And that's what everything should be. Everything in the world that you encounter. You see it like that tool. Trust me, the good outweighs the bad you perceive in doing what you know needs to happen. Let's see. Hey, what a great little spot. And where was this spot? Last summer. This is I didn't have to pay somebody to get here. It's open, there's a water source. Cool little bit, this is just a cool little spot. But I'm sure normally this would be overburdened with people. See, right now the beauty in it is that it's this. And maybe it is this low-key. And there's the double-edged sword part where we need it to be, it only does a certain thing for us, used in the right way. And we lose it when too many people are involved. So that's why self-preservation is anti-Christ. So that's why laying down your life, the giving up of the things that you rely on, the things that you need, is the laying down your life, is what does it, is the sacrifice that makes it happen. It's funny how we have to lay down the things that we use, that we want, that God gives us, trying to build what He showed us And only by laying it down and giving it away and keep going, it's the only way we truly get it. Which is what God had been showing me too. I'm trying to think and observe this new land. I like this place. I imagine if the virus wasn't happening right now, if this was a year ago or 2 years ago, this place would be busy and full, but it's not. You know? The physical virus actually quarantined the effects of that virus. So the people in fear states, they just aren't there. So there's always a silver lining. People look at all the information of the scribes in all their different variations and say, oh, look how bad it is. Look how good it's getting. There's that too. There's a physical thing that mirrored a deeper spiritual thing. And look what it did. Made this wide open and empty just for me. It is still a little chilly out, and this is early in the season as well. So even if this was there wasn't a corona, this is just a good day for it as well. Because, I mean, it's the beginning of February. This is an abnormally nice day, and there are lots of abnormal things going on in the world. But it's not that. It's new abnormal things. Really, things that have already been are just being manifested. Things that you didn't see before, you see, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's so bad. No, it's been that bad and beyond. You just got to go through the process. This is a cool little hike, peaceful. Bet you the people around here love it. See, that's the difference of the... Okay, today I got off the beaten path. I always avoid tolls just because of tracking stuff and money. Tend to get a little bit better scenery, not just the mainstream flow. Avoid highways too. Well, then you really get the more off the beaten path stuff. So the beauty that you see driving in a car, that road is the hindrance that stops you from being out here on this trail. The beauty that there might be down by the water would mean I'd have to get off the trail. Like, the benefit from being up here is the beauty of this. The benefit from being down there would be the beauty of that. They're different destinations, they're different paths. Yeah, like, you have to remove yourself from something to sync up with something else. It's the same in all things. All of creation testifies. Jesus was the way. He paved the way. There's a way. There's steps that'll take you up. There's steps that'll take you down. It's windy. It's not paved. You're lucky if you get something beaten down this nice. You're getting real lucky. It's been beat down really nice for you. But we gotta walk it. And some different path might have a different beauty, but it won't have the beauty of the path you're on, and vice versa. It's always both. Worldly church, worldly system outside of the bigger definition of the body, that's just like window shopping. That's the kind of beauty you can see sitting in your car driving down the interstate. Ooh, ah. There aren't any roads for the body. We're co-creators. There literally aren't the roads. There are pieces that can be assembled into the roads, but there aren't. There's some paths we can navigate, but the path isn't there, though it is. We are part of that body taking the next step, for the service to God, which is serving ourself, loving people, loving God's children, lifting up of humanity as a whole is our greatest service to God. And once in a while you might have a person come to an interstate and be walking, and you can pick them up. You might see a hitchhiker. You might pick them up doing that normal thing, and it might be miraculous. It might be great. But for the most part, the people aren't just going to the place where the heavy flow of traffic is. That's not made for people walking. It's made for a different flow, a different current. It's a different vehicle. If they do, they're just going to catch a ride. They're not trying to stay there. So the body isn't the interstate. Though you want to have an exit so people can get out. I remember what I was saying. Yeah, made it to the destination. Something falls. There they are. Ooh, majestic and beauty. That was a cool spot. Awesome trail. This is great. Phenomenal. It's funny how your views of a whole state are filtered and affected by what you see happen to people who are in those states. That's how even states are against each other. That was the Civil War. The real virus playing both sides, different parts of both sides. And just trying to stop the truth from getting out, freedom from being attained and achieved. Because that's what it is every time. That's the enemy's goal. Had strongholds in heaven and God's been taking them down. God's people have been working. The kingdom's been taken by force repeatedly. You know what? They lost the keys to the kingdom. What does the parable say? The kingdom of heaven is like a woman who had a jar of meal and the handle broke and all the meal spilled out. She got home and set the jar down. She arrived and set the jar down and found out, oh, it's empty. Uh-oh. That's what happened. That's the parallel. Thomas, in the beginning, there shall the end be. In the English, we go left to right. Physical realm, we go left to right. In Hebrew, the language of creation, like spiritual, we go right to left. The end will be the same place in the beginning. So here's the end of the physical. That would be the beginning of the spiritual. It's a weird loop. It's like a pole shift. The last will be first, first will be last. You go to one extreme, everything just has to culminate and reach a certain point, and then it's like, doop. It's all just waves hitting walls and freaking all the parameters are there. You know, wicked people have hijacked the kingdom, they've taken it by force, but you know what? God's people have the keys to the kingdom now. This is the time where all that old stuff is done. Okay, all of creation testifies. And we're each like trees. Why is this tree like this tree right here is, right now? Why is it different than that tree? Or that tree? Or the one that's not standing? What makes them different? One, the original seed that they were birthed from. We can't change the seed we were birthed from. Automatically. That tree couldn't change that it's a different type of tree than that tree. Just like us. We can't choose certain parts of our start and our origin. Okay? All of the coding is there. It's built in. It's in that seed. Boop. Boop. Okay? Well, then what else? Okay, then it's the environment. Okay? Is one getting less sun than the other? Is one getting less rainwater than the other? Did a fungus attach to one and make it sick and stunt its growth? Oh. If there is fruit on both of these trees, and there is good fruit on that tree, and there is bad fruit on that tree, who is responsible for the fruit? The tree. The health of the tree is what decides the outcome of the fruit. It is the womb for that. So in the world, all these different trees, and we're just a bunch of fruit on all these different trees, and they're gonna persecute and abuse and ridicule and belittle the fruit, saying you're bad. Though they are the tree that created us. Ironic. Don't worry, it's the millennial reign. It's the time where we rise up. When the reality is, if there is any bad fruit on any tree, more than the fruit, we look at the tree that created it. That's the whole purpose. Not the fruit. The root that tree is anchored into the earth. Where that point is, that's where the axes start going. And you know what? Forests, there are storms, there are fires, there's erosion, there's all kinds of things. And you know what? The storms come and it knocks over sick trees. It strengthens some trees. They fight to make it through the storms, and then they bear better or more fruit as a result. Some of them can't handle the stress and break. They look healthy, they just break. Weak, didn't get the right nutrients, didn't have the right environment. That tree can't choose the environment that it gets. It can't choose the nutrients that it was given, the resources that were available for it. All it can choose is what it has with its environment. So, okay. Now, then you can go down to the base level of the person. See, we are each like the tree that has the fruit of what is programmed within our minds. And what we experience keeps adding information. So self-talk and self-evaluation is very critical. Not allowing ourselves to pretend is very critical for our brain health, for our spiritual health, our well-being. Not being double-minded is very important. And we have the ability to rewrite the coding that is there. And it's the simple things that the Bible talks about actually do hack those systems. Give thanks in all things. Just stopping to give thanks in all things. Help me in the most extreme situations. Pray for your enemies. Every time you didn't like something, pray for it. But that didn't mean, in praying for it, it didn't mean not do whatever it takes to establish a solution in the physical realm at the same time. But I gave thanks to God and I looked for the silver lining. And you can always find some silver lining. You know, silver lining. Oh, a tree went down. Great, we can use that to build this. Down trees, probably built the braces and the walkway on this trail that leads to this beautiful spot. So, yeah, you use, see, storms come, nothing's perfect. Even the natural order, there's still storms in the natural. Trees still fall, there's still beauty, there's still chaos, there's still places where we gotta put out effort, things we gotta maneuver, steps we gotta take. It's a lot easier when there's a way established. But we got to get off the way in order to get back on the ways and build new roads, and build new bridges, and be new bridges. And we have to have balance in all things, and that's input and output. We have to understand and extend as far as we want to extend self. We want to comprehend and understand the environment, and then it's easier to navigate. Because the real beauty is completely off the beaten path. But there's another parable on the way here, a sign. Okay, it's dangerous. You can't go off the beaten path here. So it's to protect people. It's to protect from the potential harms of the outliers. So now the main mass can't maneuver and experience different beauties because someone somewhere or precautions needed to be taken just in case. So everything is that double-edged sword. The thing to protect in one situation restricts another person in their situation. So is it good or bad? It's both. It's good to them, it's bad to them. Well, which way has the greatest potential for good as the whole? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We'll do that. Which thing is lying and deceiving and making stuff appear one way and then acting completely different. Okay, yeah, no, I don't want none of that. I don't care what title it calls itself. I don't care what the world thinks about that. That's the cornerstone. If Jesus is the cornerstone, okay, the church was a cornerstone for that wave. The new cornerstone is the definition of the body, viewing people in that way. Viewing this forest for the whole. There are roads that lead to here. There are trails. There is the balcony. There is the ledge. So that you can see and observe the beauty of the whole. Because yes, there is beauty in all different pieces, but you look closely at some of this stuff, it's ugly. What is that? Is that freaking cancer? Like fungus on everything? You see natural stuff sick. Feeding the agendas of the people, of the different handlers that are and have been. The scribes and the Pharisees. The scribes are more than just the religious people, though it's all big religious war, and there's all sorts of innocent bystanders to that war. And I forgot what I was saying, but it's the beauty of the whole, and some of the parts are ugly. And the mark of the beast, let's put the mark of the beast, redefine clusters of words. Use the word. Be fluid. Co-create. Out of the box. The more you get out of any boxes, the more you can come out of other boxes. So it's good. A lot of boxes got shut down. Take advantage, come out of the box. Great time for it in the world. I mean, look, you can have the advantage of something like this. And maybe when you're driving, you're listening to someone like me and learning from my experience, just like I do from others when they share their experience and their testimonies. That's why we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. If there were dangers on this path and somebody was hiking and they were leaving as I was coming in, the word of their testimony could inform me that there's a spot I might fall. There's a hazard that I might not be aware of that could cause me harm or discomfort. And out of the kindness of their hearts, viewing your will, your needs, your well-being as valuable, share with you. And then you have a more refined way established within your mind for you to walk out. So then I would go down, I would encounter, I would look for the signs of what I heard. Oh, they're there, okay. I'm accepting this is more valid. I'm taking them in good faith, but I'm cautious. There might not be this obstacle they say is going to be there, but I'm looking for the signs. Oh, what, come around the corner? I'm like looking, just, okay, what would it look like? Oh, there it is, there are the signs, they're all there. They're clear as day when I look for the signs. Okay, now I know, okay, this is real. Now I'm more, okay, oh, yep, there's the obstruction, there's the obstacle, just like you said. Okay, I already know how to avoid it. Boom, okay, I avoided whatever mishap might have been. The word of that person's testimony might have saved me a broken bone. They might have been in a hurry to go. They might have been late for their prayer meeting. Their grandma might have been calling them the devil because they had missed Wednesday night church and you're already late. But you were being like Christ in laying down that moment of your time to share. Even if it's embarrassing and uncomfortable. I mean, even if it's not just, yeah, I tripped and fell, it was really embarrassing, covered in mud. Like, I don't want you to do it. Here's the information. Oh, okay. Great. It can be other things too. You know, if you eat some food. I'm not even going to go there. Okay, back to here. There are lots of variations But with God, there is one life-giving mountain. Okay, you know what? If that is the Most High, the mountain of God, each one of these trees, whoop, 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 is going to give you a different description of what that mountain looks like. Some of them are going to be really close. They're going to be like, yep, no, but this is a little different. No, yep. But you can see the gist of it, you know? You're like, yep, don't think nothing of it. But someone else, from a very different location, a different cluster, would say, no, that looks very different than what you're describing. I know, I've seen it. I've been up that mountain. I've been up that mountain too. You know, it's... Who's right? This perspective is right from its perspective. That perspective is right from their perspective. From God's perspective, they're both right. From God's perspective, they're both wrong. They're both wrong when they say the other is wrong. Because it's just their perspective. All that is wrong. We're fragmented. We're spiritually disassociated. Fragmented pieces of a body. A spiritual body that got hacked and infected and had to be quarantined. And the mirror to us overcoming is that real virus got quarantined. Really, it's game over for the beast. It's game over for the beast. And the only power that that beast still has is that you believe that it's not game over. But it's game over for that beast. The jar was empty. The crown was taken. That worldly crown is kiboshed. And it's funny. See, even things that aren't the same can be united when there is a same enemy. I can have a house here, you can have a house there, we could not like each other, never talk to each other. But you know what, if there's a flood coming, or if there's a fire coming, yeah, we start working together. The fires and the floods in the world only got to keep going until people start working together. Do your thing, that's fine. As your tithe to God, tithe 10% of your time to God. Tithe to something outside of the norms. Get as far out of the established things as you can get. Get the place that is the most direct, the most effective, with the most freedom, with the most visibility. There's nothing covered in the kingdom. There's one life-giving mountain. If there are two mountains, yeah, there's all these variations. There's this little hill here, this little hill here. The truth is always that big mountain in the middle. It's that narrow ridge leading to that big mountain. Fine line till you get past the two mountains, and then poof. Then it's the Most High's mountain. Much better than people fathom. Much more vast. Instead, we've settled into poverty, settled into mediocrity, settled into thinking that it's okay to break people. It's the bad part. Even once they lose the keys to the kingdom and lose the actual authority, a virus isn't alive. It's a non-living thing. It just keeps going. It's infected. It just keeps running in the background. Do. And growing and spreading and infecting and filtering. The mark of the beast, the filter of the light, the impression, the lens. The tint on my lens. Really dark lens might be great when the sun's right in my face. But when there's obstructions and the sun's hidden, you don't want any lenses. In truth, we are spirit. We have 20/20 spiritual vision, and there's a virus, which is information, that is the barrier. And that information written on people gets them to think that it is okay to cause harm to others for any reason. And I'm not saying that there is absolutely no situation where harm can be and it can serve good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the standard that we need, that we have, that the body has. You do whatever it takes. Number one, cause no harm. But when to allow something causes more harm than to not do something, not doing something is criminal. But we have the keys. Everything that they've used against us, we have to use against them. It's all there. But nobody knows how. So this is Testimony Now time. This is going to be my intro to Testimony Now time. I won't even edit it, just this day. So we give our testimonies. And start breaking down the walls. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony. Forget all this other noise. Pick some essential, some tangible, and do it. That's what I've been doing. The second I realized and truly, internally comprehended that you overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony, when I truly got that, I never stopped working on my testimony. I've never stopped trying to understand myself, trying to convert my experience into something to pave some path for others. Ever. I never broke that promise to God. Ever. I did whatever it took, no matter how it looked, whatever got the results. Regardless of what people thought. In the face of opposition, great opposition. And if I did it with no resources, there's no reason that we can't do it collectively. It's ridiculous. I was one person. You know what? The best of the best in a cult or whatever they are, whatever it was, couldn't take me out. God healed me. God spared me. And we've come a long way since then in the world. Criminals poisoning people, using parasites, trauma to condition and handle people, robbing us of information, hijacking the financial system, keeping us stuck in all of these broken, beat down little systems that keep us very flockable. They build us to be cowards, just so they can F us. Yeah, there's some ugly things out there. Some ugliness up close. Broken branches, rotted trees that you don't see when you're looking at the beauty of whatever. Everything, the beauty that I see causes me to not see the ugliness. If I see too much beauty, the ugliness is going to get me. If I see too much ugly, the beauty is going to captivate me and capture me. It's going to balance, and it's going to go in waves until you recalibrate, until you start making your waves. Yeah, you're a cog in the wheel. Well, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know what? The wheels of the system are going to start squeaking and faltering. And they're either going to be repaired and converted into something that is just and right and righteous, or the trees that aren't strong enough are going to get taken down. the ones that aren't bearing good fruit get uprooted by the storms. We don't even have to come and do it. Nature takes care of it for us. And you know what? When you're in sync with God, the God of everything, you are the storm. You're the storm, you're the peace in the storm. You're living stones in the temple of God. The body of Christ. All the fingers are different. Go further than fingers, cells. Our acts, our actions, our energy output, what we out of our free will choose to imprint and do in the world is writing on it. When the right things are written, we're done with this. And the beauties are better than these beauties. But this is beautiful, by the way. But I can't let the beauty of here. I was like, I should have brought my notebook. Stayed and write. Hang out here. I could hang out here all day. Whoa, wow, there's a great campground. Woo! Awesome. Where was this place when I needed it? That would be good for me. I would enjoy that. But every day I see things that I would enjoy, and I recognize it and I lay it down. Because if I stay here, I'm not walking the path. I'm not warning the person that's going to walk down this path. I'm not experiencing things in new ways so that I can bridge new gaps. And I can't stay here and be selfish when there's so much need out there where it's not beautiful. The more that I do this stuff out there, the more beautiful this stuff gets. This stuff is good. Is this place good or bad? Who is the person that's here and what are the details? See, we see everything in dimensions that lack depth, lack life. Just these bland blah programs written that we just keep subjecting ourselves to. One person might come here to do drugs, might be the worst thing in the world. One person might come here to do drugs, it might be the smartest thing that they ever did. The reality of things is different than they look. To one it adds to one it takes away. In Thomas, he says, be passers-by. Be passers-by. Why? Because we recognize that we're the body. So we want to have as much mastery of ourselves. That's number one. As much mastery within as we can, because we're heirs to all this. If this is the tool, we want to be able to use all the features and functions. We don't want it bogged down. We want to make sure that we got a tune-up, that we're calibrated, and that we are the blood in the body. We're the messengers, we're the builders, we're the bees. But we've had a beekeeper. That nasty old beekeeper. We'd be working all day. He'd come steal our honey. She'd come steal our honey. The virus would steal our honey. The things that you think are bad might be good and are in real tangible perspectives. The things you think are good might be bad and are from very real, very tangible perspectives. It always goes both ways. So me staying here means I gain no new perspective. I get to enjoy, I get to draw from this situation, but I don't like just drawing from situations. I'm built to add to give. I can't even enjoy things unless I can give. And in ways that work. And I won't waste time with what doesn't work either. And I won't go steps when it's not time for steps. There has to be the right sequencing of things. People have to see the right things at the right times. People have to do the right things at the right times. Choose the right things at the right times. Realize whatever you think, you're going to get humbled. You're going to learn something. You'll be like, shee. It's happened and it's going to happen again. So it's much better. We're all going to get humbled by God. But it's much better that we humble ourselves before God. See, there's one river. If I need water, I want to get as close to the source as I can. Anything in the way can filter it, moves it, rocks maneuver it, logs maneuver it. People can come and carve their own channels. Is that channel good? Well, yeah, there's a big flow, you get a channel, you get it to the... So it's watering the trees. If it's doing its purpose, if it's being the tool. Now what if that channel creates a whole bunch of water loss? So much that it affects the whole. Well, then that channel is not good. Something needs to change. That's how it is in the world too. The channels got to change. And it's the information. God, I had to see the extreme opposite polarity of everything. It's like, I feel like I have to see everything that people won't see until they see it. That's what I feel too. And through the process, I keep learning, and what I see changes. And it's that synchronicity, those wheels syncing up and coming together and tightening up, and all this stuff lining up. We don't want new lenses to filter. We want to identify any filters, any lenses that are there, and destroy them, because we have 20/20 vision. And you might not have 20/20 vision physically. Maybe you will. There are going to be a lot of people who, when they start questioning certain things that they thought were unfathomable, and they start praying, like, okay, God, show me. God, show me if this is true. And people are going to start regaining vision when they speak those words. Stuff like that is going to happen. And those testimonies are going to increase. And all sorts of ungodly things, they aren't going to stand the storm. And we don't have to sit there and wait for the storms to come. The storms of injustice to pass. No, we are the storm that storms the root causes. We are the storm that storms the source of injustice. And we do it the right way. And when you see the hand of God move, and it syncs up with things that people have said, it's a good idea to understand their perspective. If they're seeing things that are different than you, but then they happen, might want to pay attention. When somebody has walked a trail and they're trying to give you information so that you can navigate your path, your walk, you at least factor it. It's at least in the back of your head. You at least extract a couple of signs to look for just in case. I didn't see any of those signs. God's not showing me that. Whatever, great. Do what you do. But you'll see the signs. Ace of base. I saw the sign. I didn't open my eyes, I saw the sign. So everything being somewhere means that it's not somewhere else. Sounds obvious, but I don't think about what that could mean for us. So all of this water being in this channel means that it's not dispersed in other places, but at the same time it catches it from lots of places. When you push something, something is also pulled back, and vice versa. It's the same thing, just a different degree of it. Pushing and pulling are the same thing. This is just like a tub of grease. I got a piece of wood or something, and it's like, it's going to pull it back. The same thing. If I pull it back, it's going to push that grease, whatever that material is, back. It's always that. So our comfort, our excess comforts mean the discomforts of others. So where there is excess, that's what we are judged by what we do with what we have. God recalibrates things by how well we use what he gives us. And it looks different for each person. It's wise for people not to judge another man's servant. It's good to discern, it's good to speak your voice, it's good, but it's also good to do it in the right ways. But condemnation, especially of people, we should be careful and recognize the virus. Now, the systems that create the people, we should condemn them. And God persecutes, see, God chastises those he loves. So when you freak out at a kid who doesn't listen because they're doing something wrong, you don't do it because you hate them, even though they think that you hate them because of how you're acting. Really, you hate what is different in them that restricts what you know can be. It's the same with God. It's the same with us. We should hate the systematic things that restrict freedom and the unnecessary places of power that we have given away to others, and the things that want to filter the light for us and tell us what to think, not to free us from the boxes of programmed thinking that we've been fed. That's the resurrection. That's the third day, where we recognize the truth, when we know who we are, the body, heirs to the promise of Abraham. We've inherited vain lies. We've taken up our cross. We've seen the reality of what crucifixion looks like. And we do it to ourselves so it doesn't have to happen to others. Then you're free. I've been doing so much driving, I'm a little winded and my knee hurts so bad. If I step on it wrong, it hurts. But it doesn't stop me. Well, why am I so tired? One, the driving so much, not being as active. But then at a friend's, they get hit with a foot or two of snow, and there's a task. It has to be done. I'm there. I do it. Just because it needs to be done. Because it's the common good. It doesn't matter if I have the strength. I just do it. Then I deal with it afterwards. So that's what I did, and I felt it. Just like I feel it now. I don't feel like hiking, though I did want to. The beauty of it. I don't feel like hopping and crawling and all that good stuff. Because I hurt. But I do it. That drive, what's your drive? Is Christ your drive, the body? Because that's the drive that keeps you going. No matter how it looks to others. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That drive, that knowing what can be, what shouldn't be, what must be stopped, what the next step is, what the next right thing is, and doing it. And all things become too big for the creators to control and become their own thing. A little like landmine structured in the way everything's built so that it can be taken captive. You can look at it like that's the devil, but that's God. God uses everything. And sometimes what you think is the devil is different. And sometimes what you think is God is different. The angel comes, the devil comes as an angel of light. If they say Christ is here or there, believe it not. Who am I? I'm the body. I am a member of the body. I represent Christ. I represent God the Father. I'm an heir to the promise of Abraham. I do my best to observe and learn from traditions. And I see that there's more behind everything, behind each of these brackets. They're all little canals that lead to that same river. Take advantage of the paths that are there and build the body, whatever it takes for people, and help people get safe, secure environments, their own four walls. That is such a critical thing, not having their space. Thank God for the social distancing. Can't imagine how many people who are getting poisoned aren't anymore. Demented. But, alright, that's a wrap. You know, Christ esteemed others as more important than self. All others. Are we more important than them? Our thing? I put the greater good of others before self to the furthest of extremes that one can. In everything. Some would say you have to not worry about them and you have to do you so that you can help anybody else. Which is true, how it's true. That's been the norm. That was where we started. And we kept building that. But this is also true. And this is kingdom true. This is agape love true. It's the heart of God true. It's the truth of God true. That's the spirit of God true. That's the resurrection power truth. That's Mashiach level truth. So that's the resurrection truth. You must be born again. Repent. Take up your cross. Lies are sin. Take captive every thought. Replace the lies with truth. New truths are being born again. You're a whole new thing with different information. A computer has a whole different function once you install a different application. As long as you have the memory. And the hardware and all the accessories. Everything mirrors everything else. Boy, it'd be good for everybody to really understand computers. Not just the base level of how we use them, but to really understand them. Because the millennial reign that's a reign of programming-minded people who see it for what it is, When it comes time to rewrite, reprogram, they can do it. And when it's time to flow, they got the freedom and the environment to do it. See, what you think is their greatest flaw is actually the greatest strength from a perspective you're not seeing, from a more vast perspective. But what you're seeing is accurate also. So the more you see the good, the better you can understand and decipher the bad. The more you comprehend the full spectrum of them, the more that you can interrelate with it. So that's one thing God's done too. Use all these artificial things so you can see the artificialness of it in the physical realm in one way. But then he's also placing the right pieces together, because that's what they've known. Opposites, they're like polarities. They don't come together. The North and South Pole, they only come together at God, but they repel each other too. You know, magnetism, one attracts, one pushes, one pulls. And it's like that with us. Wizard of Oz. Try putting all these different pieces together artificially when it can't work that way. I mean, it can, but it can't. It has to really happen bottom up, inside out, top down, same time, all at once. And not in a hidden, not from the superiority using, manipulating layers that have been. Raw, real, unfiltered. Where am I? Okay. Repent! The kingdom is at hand! Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees. But the Pharisees weren't guilty till they encountered the way. So make sure Yahweh is Yahweh. Hey, hey. So well off the beaten path, I arrive here, the highest point in the state. Actually, it's probably that little thing right there, but and how different all them trees look from up here. How different the view is. It always looks majestic from up here. How easy it is to say those trees there are the problem, or that down there is the problem. A lot different looking down than trying to see through all the obstructions that you can see past. But it's beautiful. The beauty that lies off the beaten path.